Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and this one is yet the next of our series of freight runs. This one is a much lighter freight run because it's a post office run, mail train, and it is also the first of a kind of video that I haven't done in a long time. It's another drive guide, specifically a drive guide for the Class 73. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. I've already done a drive guide of Class 73, and you're right, I have. But that one was for the Gatwick Express Class 73. It also applies to the British Rail in Blue Pack Class 73. They drive identically, but this one drives very differently indeed. So this is the Class 73 that comes with the Class 460 Loco DLC. It's a sort of added bonus. Now, as far as trains go, the Class 73 is infinitely superior to the Class 460, but as far as the game goes, they're both actually pretty good ones to drive. But Class 73 is considered by many to be very complicated and very difficult. It's not, it's just different. And, you know, most of the people who complain about it being complicated and different and, and difficult just don't like things that are different, and that's all it is. You drive it differently, and in fact with this one you don't drive it that differently. So our route, we are on the Wessex main line. Hopefully we won't run into any more fucking invisible AI trains, and we are going to do the entire length of it. So we are starting at Bournemouth. Our destination is Salisbury, and we are going via Chandler's Ford. Now there's a very good reason for that. The Class 73 is an electro-diesel, so it has both electric power and a diesel engine. And if we are going to Salisbury via Chandler's Ford, we will have to change the our motive power, because from Bournemouth to Eastleigh it's powered by third rail, but once we leave Eastleigh and head to Chandler's Ford, we have to change to diesel power. Now once we've come off the branch that Chandler's Ford is on, we can then revert back to electrical power again. So even though this is a freight run, we will be making some stops. So we'll stop at Southampton because a mail train is not going to just go straight through Southampton. We'll also stop at Eastleigh. We will also stop at the station that comes after Chandler's Ford, and I've forgotten the name of it, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And obviously we'll stop at Salisbury because that's the end of the route. So yeah, there'll be 4 stops along the route. Our Class 73 is a reskinned version of the version that comes with the Class 460. So if you just buy that Loco DLC, you will get this Class 73, but not with this livery. This is a GBRf livery version. Now, as for the specifics, it's summer, it's clear, and it's 12:30 PM. I'll make it summer and clear just to make sure that everything is clear. You can easily see what's happening. I doubt it would make any difference, to be honest, but it's a drive guide, so we want things to be as easily seen as possible. So that is the setup. Here we go. And here we are in the cab of our Class 73. Now you'll immediately see that there is one similarity between this and the other version that I'd already driven, which is, yeah, this big old gap here. Unfortunately, yeah, I can't really avoid it, so I always sort of face this slight angle just so that we don't see that at the side, because it looks like shit and it ruins the general atmos. Now, to get this thing up and running, first of all, we need to do something very different compared to the previous one. We need to change our view to this one and activate the AWS system, because without that we are going nowhere. So now we need to turn the master key the usual way, and then we want to set the reverser. Now there are actually two modes as far as the moving forward. So there's series and there's parallel. I always use parallel because parallel gives you access to both series and parallel, whereas if you go into series mode, that's the only mode you can use. You can't go into series mode. So parallel basically means you can go faster. Pretty self-explanatory. Right, let's turn on our instrument lights, the lower indicator lights and the upper indicator lights. The lower indicator lights are basically the headlights, and the upper indicator lights is the head code. We can't change the head code in this, which is a bit of a shame, but there we go. Now, as far as the initial setup, because we are running in electrical mode, and you can see the third rail there, so that's all okay. But yeah, as far as the initial setup, that's all we need to do. So let's take a look at our train. Here is our Class 73 with the GBR rail freight livery. It is well known by now that I do like the GB rail freight livery. I don't know why they used this particular font. It's not a bollocks up with the reskin. That is the font used on GBRf Class 73s. And as we look down the train, yeah, all of our post office vans all right here. So we have 7 of them. We can't open the doors to them in any way, which is a bit of a pain, but there you go. Right, so we can release the brakes, and while we are doing that, we will move the power handle into hold, because, and this will be music to the ears of Jim Plays, you drive this like the Class 87. It's using a tap changer. So we are notching up, and yeah, it's exactly the same as the Class 87 and 86 and 85 if you have that. So to slow down or to reduce the notches, you would run back. You can see here the ammeter. I nearly called it animeter, which I kept doing in the original video. If it runs back all the way to like the off position, you'll hear the engine shut down. If I just notch up a couple, right, and then I'll let it run back so you can hear it shut down. Yeah, shut down straight away. Now if you don't want to wait for if you don't want to wait for it to run down back through the notches before it's it does shut down, you just move it straight to off. The off position is 10% on the throttle, but unlike the other Class 73, while we are running in electrical mode, the entire throttle is used to control the train. It's not that the throttle has been split into two like the previous one was. So we will start notching up, but we're now entering a 45 zone, so we can now get some more power. So we will run it up. So this again is just like the class 87 tap changer. So this is now running up through all of the notches, but keep an eye on this R here in the display. This is showing that the resistors within the electrical motor are still being used. Now that it's gone out, the resistors are no longer required, and we can now take it up to 100%. This is the weak field setting, and this gives the 73 its fastest acceleration. So now in the 60 zone. So that's really the only sort of major difference between driving this in electrical mode and driving an 87, 86 or 85, is that yeah, you do have this additional option of putting the train into the weak field power mode, and that's where you'll get the best acceleration from it. But you've got to keep an eye on the R in the display here. Once that R's gone out, which means the resistors are no longer you know, having to hold back an overload in the electrical motor, then you can engage it. While the R is still there, it won't do anything. I mean, it's not quite as bad as in the other class 73, where if you engage the weak field too early, the system, or the whole train, just goes into emergency shutdown. So there's no getting away from it. The class 73, when it comes to design, I mean, it really is a box on wheels. We go through Folkestone station. And we are approaching an 80 mph section. We are very also, yeah, quickly approaching speeding. So I'm going to put us into run back. Now, one of the other big differences between the tap changer here and in the class 87 is that there is nothing on the control panel, or the control desk, that tells you what notch you're in. You have no idea. So you just heard the engine shut down there because we've run down through all the notches to essentially shut off. So we are approaching this 60 mph section. We are also on a 1 in 99 downhill. So yeah, we're going to be accelerating whether we like it or not. The Christchurch station is coming up. Again, we're not stopping here. So the old 73 is actually a rather quiet train when you're running in electrical mode. And I mean, to be fair, the diesel engine isn't hugely loud either, so you know, it's not a particularly noisy train. You can open the windows, unlike any other DTG. Well, this isn't a DTG program one, but it is published by them as we go through Christchurch station. But yeah, in this thing, if you open the windows, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever to the audio. So we are currently in a 70 zone, so we can start to start the run up again. We don't need the throttle or notch up. We're going fast enough, so we'll keep an eye on the R. There are actually two different modes when running up. If you just take a look at the, you can just about see it, but yeah, there's a run up in series mode and a run up in parallel mode. Now, because we have the reverser in parallel, we can access the run up in parallel mode. If we had it in series, it would only run in series mode. You couldn't get the additional acceleration from the running up in parallel. To be honest, I think there's very little reason for you to ever put the reverser in anything other than forward parallel. It gives you the access to both, you know, both power modes. You don't have, you know, there's no real reason to limit yourself to only series. So here comes Hinton Admiral in about 1.5 miles. So we are already out of Dorset and into Hampshire. So yeah, as long as we keep the speed limits, there's not really much else we need to do between here and Southampton, where we make our first stop. So Class 73, nicknamed the Shoebox. It's not hard to see why. I think it's one of the unsung heroes of the British Railways network. So just because it looks utterly forgettable doesn't mean that the loco itself is utterly forgettable. It's a great thing. It's a great one to drive once you've, you know, given yourself all of a couple of minutes to get used to how to drive it. It really is not that difficult at all. So that's Hinton Admiral station we've just been through. We're about to pass a 444. So we are on a 1 in 119 uphill gradient, and it's causing us to lose speed. New Milton station is now on the route display, 1.5 miles away. So I think when we started it was something like 58 miles to Salisbury from Bournemouth, because we're certainly not going as the crow flies, going anything but. I mean, although we do have to head northwards, we are, you know, as far as going like east or west, we are going in completely the wrong direction to get to Salisbury. We are picking up speed again, very close to 80. I'm not sure what the top speed of the Class 73 is. I know it can shift. So here we are at New Milton. We're going straight through New Milton. So we are certainly now in the New Forest. Fantastic part of southern England, the New Forest. Probably the most scenic part of the whole of southern England, I think. I think it's more scenic than, you know, Devon and Cornwall. One of the things I really like about Brockenhurst, which is one of the stations we'll be going through, I mean, it's a town that is completely within the New Forest. In fact, there are plenty of them. Well, more villages than towns, but still. I think Brockenhurst is the largest town that's within the New Forest. But yeah, an entire town just completely within the forest is fantastic. It is every bit as picturesque as it sounds. So we have an 85 section coming up. And we are getting close to it. I think we'll be okay, and it is very short as well. In fact, let's throttle down just to make sure. We are still accelerating, but at a much slower rate because we are no longer in the wheat field. Once we are back into the 90 zone, we'll take it back into wheat field again. But it does impress me that this thing is capable of doing, it certainly looks like it's capable of doing 90 mph. I mean, this thing is about as aerodynamic as a brick. In fact, it is as aerodynamic as a brick as we go through a sway station. And it weighs, fuck knows how many tons, and it is able to do 90 mph. We're very close to 90, but we do have to start to loosen speed, so I'll start running down and braking. Don't need to brake particularly hard, the brakes on this thing are fantastic. Brockenhurst station is the next one coming. Again, we'll just go straight through it. Just heard the clunk as we've gone through all the notches and have powered down, so I can now move the throttle back into the hold position. We are on a 1 in 103 downhill gradient, that's why we are still picking up speed. So we're now in the 70 zone. It's only while we go around this curve, and then we are back into an 80 zone. We might just time this okay. So we're entering the 80 zone. In fact, we're losing speed, so there you go, into the 80 zone. I'll wait until we're in the 90 zone and then we'll start powering up again. So the resistors have come back on, because I've run down to the point where the electric motor is actually now off. So here is Brockenhurst station. As I've said many times before, I have been here. I can tell you that they've got it pretty much spot on, their rendering of that station. Okay, let's start running up and keep an eye on the R here, wait for that to go out, and then we can put it back into a wheat field again. We are now accelerating. Do still need to keep a bit of an eye on the ammeter, but yeah, it's perfectly fine. R's now gone out. Bung it in the wheat field. Ammeter's gone up a bit, but again, not too bad. With the ammeter, as long as it doesn't reach sort of like 1500, you're fine. So we do have a speed reduction coming up to 80. We are still a bit below that. I think by the time we get to that 80 zone, we might be reasonably close to the 80 limit. We are on a very slight downhill gradient. So here we are in the 80 zone. We'll put it into a hold. Don't really want to accelerate too much more, not at the moment anyway. Once we're in the 90 zone, yeah, no problem. This is going to be tight. So we're entering the 90 zone. Yeah, we're in there. Plug it straight back in the wheat field because the R was still not showing, so that was perfectly okay to do. We hadn't run down through the notches, we'd just held the power level that we were, well, yeah, we were already at. So, Bewley Road. Where you get off if you want the Bewley Motor Museum, Bewley House. Bewley Motor Museum is fantastic. It's well worth a visit. Do have an 80 zone coming up again in, you guessed it, a mile and a half. Now, I do not consider myself an expert at playing this game by any stretch of the imagination, and yet I am able to drive this thing no problem. So like I say, these people who say, oh yeah, this train is really hard, really advanced, really complicated, blah blah blah, no, it's not. I can drive it, so you know, anyone can. Now we'll take yeah, we did start running down. See, I don't really want to run down, so we'll put it in a hold. Obviously we have run down a little bit. Brake slightly so that we're fine for the 80 zone that we're coming up to. Resistance hub come back on, so I won't be able to put it straight back into the wheat field when we reach the 90 zone. We're now in the 80 zone. Ashurst New Forest is coming up. Here it is with its very staggered platforms. So we are now in the 90 zone again. Let's start running up in parallel. There is a 75 section coming up. The R disappeared almost straight away, but yeah, can't we need to slow down a little bit, not right away, but we will need to. We are approaching Totton, so we're going to need to slow down a fair bit actually. We've got a 60 zone coming up. Let's start running down. Apply a little braking, get us down to just below 75. So be ready for this 60 zone coming up. It's still running down. I'm going to let it run down till the motor shuts off. Usually when I put the 73 into the rundown mode, there it is, it's just shut down. It's nearly always so that I can let the engine completely shut down. That's actually the alert for the 75. I thought that would be the alert for the 60. It's quite a late AWS alert for the 75 zone. Put the throttle back into hold now because, yeah, the engine, the motor, yeah, long since gone down through all the notches. We're not going to be accelerating any. We're entering the 60 zone any second. There it is. Need to slow down a little bit more because we have a 55 zone as soon as we come out of Totton station. So here we are, very much on the northern outskirts of the New Forest now. So yeah, that is Totton. We do not have very far to go. I will just brake again, get us down to 50 for that zone coming up, and then we have Redbridge. So yeah, this is Redbridge station. Don't have very far to go to Southampton now. We've got Millbrook coming up. I think we can start to run up a little bit though, but I'll run up in series mode. In fact, no, let's run up in parallel mode. So we are starting to accelerate again. We don't want to go too fast obviously because we've got this 60 zone coming up, and then we've got a 40 zone because, yeah, we are fast approaching Southampton Central, which is our first stop. So much so, we'll put it in hold again. Now obviously we're not going to be slowing down, but our acceleration is not going to be going any faster than it already is. In fact, I am going to start running down again because, yeah, Southampton Central is now on the route display. Just brake a little bit. Bring us down to high 40s. You just heard the engine shut off again. So put the throttle back into the holding position. Here's Millbrook station. Let's bring us down to high 30s because, yeah, Southampton is really not that far away. We don't need to switch engine mode yet. We're still going to be able to use electrical power as we pull away from Southampton, so that is fine. move the throttle into the off position as we pull into Southampton Central Station. So we do have, shall we say, a number of mail bags to be delivered here. So here we go. So we are stopped in Southampton Central. So it is a shame that the doors on these don't open, but yeah, nothing I do is opening them. So yeah, just will not. Just totally not, interactive in any way. Right. So we can release the brakes. There we are, effectively doing a cold start here. So move the throttle up into the hold position, and then we'll do just about just 3 notches. You don't need to notch manually very much at all to get this thing up and running. It certainly accelerates a lot quicker than a class 86 or 87 or an 85 for that matter. I mean, I dare say it helps that we are, even though it's a freight train we are doing, technically it's very, very light. Just a few more notches. So I think our next station we're going through is St Denis, and we have a 25 mph limit quite close to that. I didn't realise I still had the cab light on, for what it's worth. So acceleration is still fairly slow because I haven't increased the number of notches very much, and it's because we have that 25 zone fast approaching. So we're now in 25, we'll let it run down. There we go. We'll put it back in the hold, so at least the electric motor is on. So we're now in the 25 zone. St Denis station is now on the route display. Now very soon we'll be passing a level crossing. It's the Mount Pleasant level crossing, and it is somewhat infamous for being the busiest level crossing in the country. know that we are coming. Right, we can start running up because we have a 55 limit coming up, so we can go up to that. So yeah, we're running up in parallel mode. Keep a lookout, keep an eye on that R. Here's the level crossing I was telling you about. This is the Mount Pleasant level crossing. R has gone out. Put it in the wheat field. Hopefully we'll be into the 85 zone by the time we are done here. Looks like class 159. Yeah. So here is St Denis station, and we are now in the 85 zone, so yeah, we are fine as far as our acceleration goes. There is a 75 zone coming up. I mean, that's fine, we're still accelerating up to that, so... Salisbury station fast approaching, Southampton Airport Parkway coming up as well. And yeah, again we'll just go straight through those two. Rather annoyingly we've got a 40 MP8 section coming up as well. Bit of a stutter there, as I think it's starting to load up the Eastleigh yeah, the assets for Eastleigh station. Anyway, that's Salisbury station that we just shot through there, very small. So I've put us into hold because yeah, in fact we're going to start running down because we do need to shave off quite a bit of speed, getting us down to that 40, and that is where we are going across points. And yeah, those points are going to take us to Eastleigh station. So that's our next stop. So here we are at Southampton Airport Parkway. So although we are slowing, it's not for this station, we're not stopping here. So you heard the engine has shut off. So yeah, we are fine now as far as our speed for the points. So there we go. I'll say at Eastleigh we have to change to diesel mode, so So yeah, even though this Class 73 is published by Dovetail Games, it is actually coded by Master Key Simulations. They who also did the Class 460, obviously, since this is sort of bundled with it. And I think they did a great job of it. They took a very different approach to controlling it compared to the Gatwick Express 73 and the BR in blue. I actually don't mind the fact that there are, you know, two different versions as far as how to drive the thing in the game. I'm quite okay with that. So I'm pretty sure Eastleigh Station is quite a major freight depot here. So I get the entire train here on the platform, obviously. There we go, no problem. Now, when we pull away, obviously we will still have the third rail here, but we don't have it for much longer, because it's either that 20 or that 30 at the points that we go over that takes us the route via Chandler's Ford, and that is yeah, not electrified. So to switch modes, we got to put the electric throttle fully off, so it's now in the yeah, locked off mode or position. You now press Control A and you will see now using diesel throttle, but diesel engine is not on yet. So yep, diesel engine start, hold it down. There you go, hear the engine start up. You can hear it running now. And that's all you need to do to switch. And now the throttle is, yeah, there are still notches there, but it is not that fussed about them. Anyway, let's take the brakes off before we try and move away. Here we go. Now, this is one of the later versions, one of the refitted versions of the Class 73. It's using the same engine as the Gatwick Express Class 73, which is not great. I mean, you'll see our acceleration and our top speed is now only a fraction of what it was using the electrical power. But the British Rail in Blue version has the original engine that the Class 73 had, the original diesel engine. And the power of that was 600 horsepower. That's it. And with that, I mean, it could do 20 mph eventually, but yeah, you're not looking at much more than that. So this one, we are now in a 20 zone. We'll wait until we're in the 30. There we go. Right, now in the 30 zone. I mean, I'll put it onto 100% throttle because we are now on the tracks which are not electrified. But yeah, this one and the Gatwick Express one has an engine that was actually made by MTU, them who did the first replacement engines for the high-speed train Class 43. Yeah, this has 1600 horsepower, a significant improvement, and it seriously needed it. Now, In the British Rail in Blue era version of the 73, the diesel engine was only used to sort of like move it around freight depots, train yards, maybe to do a bit of shunting, but that was it. It was just to use in areas like that where there were no electrification, so it had to use its diesel engine. But as it became apparent that using the diesel engine was a bit more viable as, you know, a main means of transportation and getting this thing around, it wasn't that quick a decision actually, but they did eventually realise that it needed a damn sight more than 600 horsepower. So that was when the decision was made to increase the engine, replace it, and put a 1600 horsepower engine in, which made a big difference. A big difference. But see, because it's, you know, you use the control A to switch between electric and diesel mode, here we now have the whole of the throttle again. So it's not the 50-50 split that there is in the Gatwick Express or British Rail in Blue versions of the 73. But I mean, you can see that the acceleration is terrible. There's no other way of putting it. And I mean, I'm not sure what the top speed is using the diesel engine. It's not fantastic, but we are going way above the top speed that we would have had available to us if we were, you know, using the BR in Blue era version. So Chandler's Ford Station. Yep, right here. And I suspect that this line sees a hell of a lot of freight. A hell of a lot of freight trains on here, because of course taking this route, it keeps them off the main lines, and it's not going to be delaying you know, passenger services well, at all. So we are still accelerating, and we're now doing over 50 mph, so you know, the speed is there eventually. So our next stop then is, it's now the station I can't remember the name of. I think it's something like Romsey, but we've passed Chandler's Ford obviously, so it's the first station once we come off this Chandler's Ford branch, and we're back onto the main electrified section. And obviously our main reason for stopping there is so that we can switch back to electric mode again. So our acceleration rate has really tailed off now. We are are now approaching a downhill section, which will help. 1 in 161 down. In fact, I'm going to throttle off, and we are going to, we are losing speed. In fact, turns out that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that 40 are the points that we are going over when it puts us back onto the main line. And Romsey, so it is Romsey, the station that we will be stopping at. There is Romsey station on the route display. You guessed it, 1.5 miles away. Bit late there, but well. Cars all stopped anyway. We weren't driving through the barriers, which makes a welcome change. So we're now fine for that 40 mph limit that's coming up. So yeah, we're now in the 40 zone. Yeah, those points were not what I was expecting. So we are still on a line that does not have any electrical power. Hopefully as we go over that 50 then, that will be where we are rejoining the powered lines. No, let's not throttle up. Still need to brake a little bit for here. Yeah, it looks like this is it. I'm keeping a lookout for third rails. I'm not seeing any. No, there are no third rails here, so we're going to have to stick to diesel. In fact, because of that, we're not going to stop here, because the only reason I was stopping here was so that we could re-engage the electric motors. But we are not on electrified rails yet. This third line here does not look like it gets used very much, but it ends there, so also we've got to look through. I mean, you can see the town of Romsey doesn't look too bad. Salisbury is still, yeah, just over 16 miles away. I'm hoping we don't need to use diesel power all the way there. I don't think we do, but stranger things have happened. We are going very, very slightly uphill. I mean, it's 1 in 695. It's not going to affect our acceleration too much, but you can see, yeah, the acceleration rate with the diesel engine is really nothing to write home about. Even the class 205 will out accelerate this. So we have a speed reduction coming up, going down to 80. I don't think that's going to affect us too much. In fact, that 80 section is relatively small. It's not even half a mile. Tell a lie, it is over half a mile. It's not even 1 mile is what I meant to say. So next station is Mottisfont. It looks a very small station indeed. I'd be very surprised if that's where the electrical supply is restored. Mottisfont and Dunbridge. Yeah, I can't say it's a station I'm familiar with in any way. Goes. I think that was a 166. It's not always easy to tell the difference between the 166 and the 165 straight off the bat. It did look a bit too long to be a 165. So yeah, here is Mottisfont and Dunbridge station, what there is of it. I mean, yeah, it's tiny. It really is a blink and you miss it station, that one. And we shot through it in no time at all, and we're in a 73 on diesel power. So it must have been small. I mean, it's taken us a hell of a long time, but we are up to 57.5 mph. And I say the 73 with the engine that the British Rail in Blue era version has Couldn't dream of reaching this sort of speed. We are up to 59. Can we actually make 60 mph in this thing? Yes, we can. And still accelerating. So Dean is next. Quite a few level crossings around here. Certainly nothing like as many as the you know, Lincoln to Nottingham route, but still a fair number. We're up to 61. The distance to Salisbury is now in single digits. Goes 66 with consist that, yeah, there's no way I'd go anywhere near that consist. So here comes Dean Station. Still no sign of the third rail, so we are still, yeah, still going on under diesel power. we are still accelerating at an incredibly slow rate, but yeah, it is still going up. So we're now at 64 mph. Got a downhill section fast approaching. That could certainly help with getting our speed up even more. A 35 mph section which is coming up. That might be where we rejoin the main line. Could even be where we actually rejoin where the line is powered. But yeah, it means that we will have barely 2 miles to Salisbury. Helped the braking quite a bit if I'd actually throttled down before putting the brakes on. This is supposed to be a drive guide. We still have over 3/4 of a mile before that 35 zone. I braked ridiculously early there. Of course, we are accelerating still because we're on this 1 in 150 downhill section. So we are fine in that zone. Here comes another 159. Do like the 159s. I'm sure a video or another video in one of those is coming up. So ground level has leveled out. In fact, we are now going slightly uphill. We've got a 20 mph section coming up, so we're not going to be able to accelerate too much from here. Okay, we've got this. I mean, this 30 is going to be enough. Still no third rail, so I mean, yeah, Salisbury is not even 2 miles away now, but unfortunately, yeah, I didn't mean it to be a run of, you know, 2 halves. I thought there'd be the section along Chandler's Ford in diesel, but we would then change back, which yeah, clearly has not happened. So it looks like we are not switching over. So it's 20 zone just as we pass the bridge. Here we go. And we do enter a 50 zone as we enter the tunnel. Well, I thought this was where the third rail may have started, but nope, still hasn't. So we are now in a 50 zone. I'll accelerate to, well, at least 30. Now we have Salisbury station on the route display. But, well, I can't show you, but I can tell you that what we did when we changed from electric to diesel mode, you do exactly the same thing when changing back from diesel to electric. So it's Control A. But once you've done that, you may not have to do this actually, but you can see there the option there to put the third rail shoe down. I always click on that anyway just to be sure, but I don't know for certain if you really need to do that. Yeah, it's certainly not ideal me telling you that rather than showing it. So we're now in the 30 zone. Still no third rail. So yeah, it really was just, yeah, the once I got to change it, I thought I would have the chance to do it twice, but clearly not. Quite a fair sized station is Salisbury. Because we have a red light up ahead. We've got the whole train on the platform. So there we are. That was Bournemouth to Salisbury via Chandler's Ford in class 73 in our mail train. Unfortunately, yeah, I was using the diesel engine for an awful lot longer than I planned to, but I didn't really have much alternative. I had to do it. But I mean, it's still a decent enough run. And Class 73 I think is a great drive. It's really not that complicated at all. If you can drive a tap changer train, you know, you can drive the 86 or the 87, then you can drive this. And when you're in diesel mode, it's like any other diesel loco. So yeah, not difficult at all. So let's have a look at how we did. One speeding error. Well, by my standards, yeah, I will certainly take that. So there we go. A drive guide for the Class 73, even if it hasn't quite worked out as I planned, it still shows you everything you need to know to yeah, get the 73 up and running. And yeah, it's a great train to drive once it is up and running. So there we go. That brings this video to an end, and we'll see you at the next one.